the power in my hands, I can't get enough, get enough. Feel the ground shaking, no, no, I'm not giving up, giving up. Feeling like you can't let go. Feeling like you can't let go. Oh, see the light in front of you, reach for what's inside of you. Are you ready? Are you ready? Fuel the spark that's under you. Push until you break through. Are you ready? Are you You got the thunder in your step, you're not giving up, giving up. Technicolor all around you, it's in your touch, in your touch. Feeling like you can't let go. Feeling like you can't let go. Oh, see the light in front of you, reach for what's inside of you. Are you ready? Are you ready? Fuel the spark that's under you. Push until you break through. Are you ready? Are you eyes closed, wide awake. I don't wanna play it safe. Sleeping in abandoned cars. Living fast, don't need breaks. Not afraid of big mistakes. Trying to find out who we are. No turning back, no turning back, yeah. Just me and you, we're breaking through like thunder. So baby, hold on tight. We're never letting go. 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 Got the power in my hands, I can't get enough. Feel the ground shaking, no, no, I'm not giving up, giving up. Feel like you can't let go. Feel like you can't let go. Oh, see the light in front of you. Reach for what's inside of you. Are you ready? Are you ready? Fuel the spark that's under you. Push until you break through. Are you ready? Are you You got the thunder in your step, you're not giving up, giving up. Technicolor all around you, it's in your touch, in your touch. Feeling like you can't let go. Feeling like you can't let go. Oh, see the light in front of you. Reach for what's inside of you. Are you ready? Are you ready? Fuel the spark that's under you. Push until you break through. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Woke up feeling easy, like I'm on top of the world. Leaving all my worries and I'm heading out the door. I think I like the way we vibe. Not gonna hide it anymore. I got a good, good feeling. You got me in the mood. I got a good, good feeling. And I know you feel it too. I'll take you to my rooftop, let you see the view. Passing all the levels, baby, making up the rules. I think I like the way we vibe. Not gonna hide it anymore. I got a good, good feeling. You got me in the mood. I got a good, good feeling. And I know you feel it too. I know you feel it too. Nothing gonna stop me living it up. Dancing to the backbeat, turning it up. Nothing gonna stop me living it up. Dancing to the backbeat, turning it up. Nothing gonna stop me living it up. Dancing to the backbeat, turning it up. Nothing gonna stop me living it up. I got a good, good feeling. You got me in the mood. I got a good, good feeling. And I know you feel it too. I know you feel it too. Nothing gonna stop me living it up. Dancing to the backbeat, turning it up. Nothing gonna stop me living it up. Dancing to the backbeat. Nothing gonna stop me
sleeping in abandoned cars. Living fast, don't need breaks, not afraid of big mistakes, trying to find out who we are. No turn back, no turn back, yeah. Wherever we go, I'm going with you, yeah. We'll show the world that all you need is good love. We'll blow the doors off every lie they told ya. Just me and you, we're breaking through like thunder. So baby, hold on tight, we're never letting go. We're never letting go. We're never letting go. We're never letting go. I'm never letting go. I've got the car, you've got the cash. Mother Mary on a dash, drive like hell until we're free. Mama said don't lose yourself, you're no good as someone else, but she knew I had to leave. No turn back, no turn back, yeah. Wherever we go, I'm going with you, yeah. We'll show the world that all you need is good love. We'll blow the doors off every lie they told ya. Just me and you, we're breaking through like thunder. So baby, hold on tight, we're never letting go. We're never letting go. We're never letting go. We're never letting go. I'm never letting go. We'll show the world that all you need is good love. We'll blow the doors off every lie they told ya. Just me and you, we're breaking through like thunder. So baby, hold on tight, we're never letting go. We're never letting go.
Welcome to FBC Live. We're so pleased to have you with us. Let us know you're here by dropping a note in the chat. And we'd love to say hi to you in person. We hope that you've had a great week this week, and we're really looking forward to spending time together this morning. It's week 2 of our series called The Adventure, and Chris will be sharing with us later on. If you'd like to stay up to date with what's going on here at FBC, go to fbcnext.com/subscribe and you will get regular messages about what's going on here. We're going to carry on with the rest of our programme now, and we'd love for you to engage with that, perhaps sing along with the songs, engage with the prayers, listen to the talk by Chris. And if you've got a comment to make, we'd love to hear it in the chat.
The very best place we can be right now is in the presence of God. I'd invite y'all to sing with us wherever you are.
Standing here in your presence, in a grace so real and endless, I am one. And by perfect love, wrapped within the arms of heaven, in a peace that lasts forever, sinking deep in mercy. See, I'm wide awake, drawing close and stirred by grace, and all my heart is yours, and all fear removed. I breathe you in, I lean into your love. Oh, your your love so deep is washing over me, and your face is all I see. You are my everything, Jesus Christ. You are my one desire, Lord. Hear my only cry to know you all my life. Your love so deep is washing over me. Your face is all I see. You are my everything, Jesus Christ. You are my one desire, Lord. Hear my only cry to know you all my life. Love so deep is washing over me. Your face is all I see. You are my everything, Jesus Christ. You are my one desire, Lord. Hear my only cry to know you all. Your love so deep is washing over me. Your face is all I seek. You are my everything, and Jesus Christ. You are my one desire, Lord. Hear my only cry to know you all my life.
I've recently gotten back into mountain biking. It's a hobby I had when I was younger, and it's something that my son Malachi is getting into. Last month we were on holiday in Devon. We took our bikes with us, and one day we went to the bike trails in Holden Forest. Bike trails are categorised in the same way as ski trails: green, blue, red and black. Malachi and I spent the morning on the blue trails, and after lunch I set out on my own on the red trail. It was my first red trail, and so I set off with a mixture of excitement and fear, wondering if I would survive. Now, it was going really well, and I did almost crash right at the start when I had to go over a drop into the trail, but I was holding my own, and other riders were even holding me up, moving to the side to let me blast by. The trail was about 10 kilometres long. You know where you go by following the red signs, just like you do when you're going on a walking trail. Everything was going really well until I came to a bit with two paths, and neither of them were signposted. Which way should I go? Should I take the left path that went downhill or the right path that went uphill? Should I wait for the people I'd just overtaken to catch up so I can ask them for directions? I quickly discounted that idea because that's ridiculous. I'm a man, I don't need directions. So I chose the left path, the downhill path. It looked more fun than the uphill one. So off I go, hurtling down this hill, and it was so much fun. But then the path disappeared. I was completely off-road, off-path and off-trail. But I wasn't worried. I was on a red run, advanced riders. Now this must be the norm for my standard of mountain biking. I continued down and down, further into the forest and further away from the path. And as I reached the bottom, I realised that I'd taken the wrong path. I should have gone right. Now I'm left with another choice. Do I turn back all the way up the hill I've just cycled down? Or do I press onwards, forging my own path? What do you think I did? What do you think I should have done? I'm a man. I don't admit defeat. So I pressed onwards, deeper into the forest. I was in a valley and I had to make my way up the other side. It wasn't easy going, especially with a bike. I had to push up a steep hill, carrying it over fallen trees and logs. Eventually, I realised I was lost. And to make things worse, it started to rain. I didn't know where I was or how to find my way out. So I did what any sensible person would do in my situation. I made a quick video and posted it on social media. Life is an adventure. That's what we're exploring together for this month. If you missed last week's message, please take some time to catch up this week. You can find it on our YouTube channel. Jesus invites us to follow him. That's the adventure. As we follow him, we continue what he started. We seek to be people and a community of people who bring light and life into our world. Jesus invites us to follow him into the plans and purposes he has for us, both as individuals and as a church. When we do this, we discover that our lives are transformed and that our communities are transformed. You might be daunted by the language of adventure. You know, part of me wants to say to you that you shouldn't be, and part of me wants to say that you should. It is a big deal. Following Jesus is something that ultimately should impact our entire lives and potentially the lives of the people around us. But we don't need to be afraid by that, because following Jesus means that we're with him. He will help us throughout it all. He will guide and encourage us. We're on this adventure. You know, if you're watching this, you are on this adventure. The question I have for you today is, where are you? Where am I? When it comes to the adventure of faith that Jesus has invited you to take, where are you at? Where are you heading, and how are you going to get to where you're going? Those are exactly the questions I asked myself as I set out on that adventure with my mountain bike last month. Where am I? Where am I going, and how do I get there? Life would be so much easier if at every junction there was a little sign showing you which way to go. Faith would be so much easier if we always had a sign to point us in the right direction. Church would be so much easier if we always had a marker pointing us in the direction of what we should do and what we shouldn't. But life isn't like that. Faith isn't like that. And being part of a church community isn't like that. It's an adventure. And as such, we don't always know where we're going or what we will face. That's part of the adventure. The world in front of us is different to the world behind us. So we find ourselves asking these questions: where am I? Where am I heading? And how do I get there? The goal of a Jesus follower is to be Christ-like. It's for us to live our lives as Jesus would if he was in our situation. That's where you are heading. And if you're anything like me, you'll be wondering, how do you get there from here? To simplifying it, you get there one step at a time. You know, as you read through the pages of the Gospels in the New Testament, you see the disciples, that's the 12 people Jesus invited to follow him, growing in their faith. They didn't have all the answers at the beginning. They didn't even have all the answers when Jesus ascended to heaven and entrusted the mission into their hands. One time, Jesus was talking to them and he asked them, "Who do people say I am?" People knew that there was something special about Jesus, but there was confusion around who Jesus was. They said, "Some people think you're John the Baptist. Other people think you're Elijah or Jeremiah or another prophet." Basically, the people didn't have a clue who Jesus was, but they did know that he wasn't your average guy. Jesus looks at them and asks, "Well, what about you? Who do you say I am?" Now, I often wonder what happens next. You know, Matthew records this for us and he goes on to let us know what Peter says. But I imagine that before Peter speaks up, that there was silence. I think the disciples looked at each other and perhaps looked at the ground. They looked everywhere except at Jesus because they didn't want to be called on to answer the question. Do you remember what that was like at school? No, nobody wants to answer the question because they don't want to be wrong. But Peter speaks up, and what he says is amazing and outrageous. Peter says, "You're the Messiah. You're the Son of the living God." Before this, they simply thought that Jesus was a rabbi, a special one, but still just a rabbi. Peter realizes that Jesus is the Messiah, that Jesus is the one who'd been foretold, the one whom the Jewish people had been waiting for generations. But Peter says more. He declares that Jesus is the Son of God. They'd waited for the coming of the Messiah. There was lots that they were expecting the Messiah to be, but they weren't expecting him to be the Son of God, to be God. This was a revelation to Peter. He didn't know this earlier. Peter was growing in his faith. You know, this is recorded for us halfway through Matthew's Gospel. Some people say this is the point that Peter became a Christian. This is the point where he realized who Jesus really was. He'd been following him for some time, and only now does he come to the point where he truly knows who Jesus is. You don't start mountain biking or skiing on a black run. Not if you want to end up in one piece anyway. This is something you progress onto. You start onto a green run, then a blue, then a red, and then a black. Green runs are for complete beginners, for people exploring if this sport is for them. Blue runs are for beginners, for people starting out. Reds are intermediate, for people who can ride or ski, and black runs are for the advanced. I think this also works for faith. Some of us are on green runs. We're exploring faith. We're trying to work out if this is for us, if this is something we want to lean into. We're trying to work out if we believe or not. Others of us are on blue runs. We're building our faith. We believe in Jesus and are starting out on this adventure of faith. There are some of us on the red runs. We're owning our faith. It isn't just something we do, but it's influencing who we are. Our faith is beginning to influence other aspects of our lives. We try to allow our faith to influence the choices we make. And then there's some of us who are on black runs. Our faith is thriving. It impacts all that we are and all that we do. We're completely sold out for Jesus, seeking to allow our faith to penetrate every decision, every thought, every action, every conversation. Thriving in our faith doesn't mean that we have fully arrived, that we've discovered all there is to discover, and that we're the finished article. To thrive in our faith means that our faith becomes the center of our lives, and everything we do flows from it. So where are you? Which run are you on? Exploring, building, owning, or thriving? When you know where you are, you can begin to work out where you need to go. I eventually found my way out of that forest when I was lost. How did I do it? Well, after I'd finished Instagramming it, I opened the map app on my phone, and from there I could see where I was and where I needed to go. When it comes to faith and the adventure Jesus has called you to, where are you and where do you need to go in order to get where you're going? We don't start this adventure on the black runs of thriving in our faith. It's something we grow into. You have to explore faith before you can thrive in it. You have to build your faith. Come to the point where you make that choice for yourself, where you answer that question that Jesus asked his disciples, who do you say I am? And then you have to allow your faith to influence and permeate throughout the rest of your life, that it moves from something you do to someone you are. From there, and only from there, can you thrive in your faith. At the risk of overdoing the run analogy, how do you progress from one to another? Well, at some point, you simply do it. You move to the blue, then to the red, and then to the black. This isn't done in a classroom, but on the trails or on the ski run. And the first time you try it, you go slowly. You probably make mistakes and fall over, but you pick yourself up, you dust yourself off, and you go again. And quickly you get over the fear and experience the excitement, the adrenaline, the joy of the adventure. So where are you? Where are you heading? And how are you going to get there? Which run are you on? And what are you going to do to progress to the next level? That's what we're going to explore together for the next 2 weeks. Next week, I want to share with you 3 key factors to help us grow in our faith. Think of them as tools or pieces of equipment that any adventurer needs as they set out on their expedition.
No height, no depth, no life or final breath could ever separate us from your love. No failure, no mistake, no loneliness or pain could ever separate us from your love. Could ever separate us from your love. Now on the other side of everything I'm afraid of, you were standing with your arms wide open, wide open. And even in my deepest doubts and my wonder, you were standing with your arms wide open, wide open, Lord. We can trust in you today. I'm healed, made strong. Oh, I found where I belong. Forever I'm alive now in your love. Come on, sing it with us. Sing, I'm changed, unchanged by your amazing grace. Forever I'm alive. You were standing with your arms wide open, wide open. And even in my deepest doubts and my wonder, you were standing with your arms wide open, wide open, Lord. I can see you standing there. Oh, yes, I can. If I make my bed in darkness, if I try my best to hide, you know the furthest ocean, you give the morning its light. Oh, I can't run from your presence, 'cause there's no place that far. Come on. So I run to you, my Savior. Why? 'Cause there's safety in your arms. Now if I make my bed in darkness, say, I try my best to hide, you know the farthest ocean, you give the morning its light. I can't run from your presence, there's no place that far. So I run to you, my Savior. Why? 'Cause there's safety in your arms. Oh, yes, Lord. There's safety in your arms. We can run to you. We can run to you. Come on. Now on the other side of everything I'm afraid to say, you were standing with your arms wide open, wide open. And even in my deepest doubts and my wonder, you were standing with your arms wide open, wide open. Now on the other side of everything I'm afraid, oh, you were standing with your arms wide open, wide open. And even in my deepest doubts and my wonder, you were standing with your arms wide open, wide open, Lord. Oh, yeah. I see you standing there. I see you standing there. Oh, yeah. We thank you, Jesus.
Never alone.
So where are you at? Where are you heading? And how are you going to get there? Jesus invites you to follow him, to grow in him. And the thing we all need to realize and recognize is that it's not something that happens in an instant, but something that happens over the course of a lifetime. The more we lean into him, the more we grow in our faith in him, the more we trust him and learn from him, the more we discover who he is and who he's created us to be. Don't try to run before you can walk. So are you exploring faith? Are you building your faith? Are you owning your faith? Or are you thriving in your faith? Why don't you head over to fbcnext.com/mynextstep just to find some resources to encourage you and help you wherever you are at in your faith journey. I'd love to pray for you. Father God, I thank you that you call us to follow you. But you don't call us to religion or institutions, but you call us on an adventure that shapes our entire lives. You call us on an adventure that impacts our communities, our families, our places of work. And Lord, I pray that you'd help us figure out where we are on our faith journey. What are the things that we can do to lean into you, to trust you, to put our hope and our faith in you? And as we seek to follow you, would you be close to us? Would you help us be aware of your presence in our lives, at work in us and through us, leading us forward on this adventure you've called us to? Bless us, Lord, I pray. Amen. Well, again, that's all we've got time for this week on FBC Live. Thanks for taking part. Thanks for joining with us. Join us back next week. We're going to be carrying on this adventure series. I look forward to being part of that with you. Have a great week. Stay tuned with us on social media and YouTube. Follow us and like us on those stuff so you can stay up to date with the things that are going on. Have a great week, and I hope to see you soon.